Hello everyone! I am Alice of KHR Arts and Cloud Orchid Publishing, and today we are going to talk about stop pirating authors' books. Let's get into it. The fact that I even have to make a video about this, y'all, is so obnoxious and egregious, but here we are. We are still living in a day and age where people are pirating authors' books, and it's even worse than you think. So, of course, there always has been the problem with the grifters stealing people's books to then sell themselves online so that then they can profit off of them. That has always been a problem, and those people really suck. And that is a huge problem, and that is why I talk so much about protect your IP. Because those people are out there who are just hungry to steal your manuscript so that then they can put it up somewhere and pretend to be you and profit off of your story. Those people suck. And honestly, unfortunately, there isn't a lot that we can really do about those pirates. The pirates that I'm really focusing on today are our own readers, for goodness sake. Those are the people that this video is about. Is that there has become this out of control trend of readers who are big fans of these authors. These are people who will literally pay money to go to these events and meet these authors in person, and they will say to the author's face that they pirated their book. I can't make this up, y'all. I can't make this up. The amount of authors that I've read talking about that people will come up to their booth at events and say, I really loved your book, but I don't have a lot of money, so I had to pirate it. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, excuse me, what? Girl, you have the money to be here at this event, but you don't have the money to buy a book? What? Make it make sense. But here we are. And that is really the big problem with this, is that people have just absolutely lost perspective on that. In order for authors to continue to have the means to be able to create these stories that you love, you have to monetarily support them. Otherwise, they can't do it anymore. And this whole nonsense about you have to do it for the love of the game and whatever. No, honey, we got bills to pay. And books take a lot of time, hard effort, blood, sweat, and tears. You gotta pay us for the privilege of reading those stories. Shame on all y'all. If y'all have pirated a book, shame on you, and I hope you've learned what a terrible thing that is and never do it ever again. And for God's sake, don't go up to an author's face and tell him you did. Goodness gracious, that is an awful thing to do. And there's this big movement of justification that's going on behind why people are pirating books that is equally obnoxious and just no. No, you are not the hero that you think that you are right now, and no, it is not a proper excuse for pirating an author's book. So one of the easy, low-hanging fruit ones that I've seen a lot is these Amazon boycotts. And I have a lot of thoughts on those Amazon boycotts, y'all. In theory, these Amazon boycotts sound great, don't they? Is that, Amazon is this big, giant conglomerate company that is being run by, effectively a cartoon villain, and their employees are not paid well, and in fact, too many articles have come out about different instances where a worker has died, on the factory floor, and they're just left there, their dead body is just left there, and their coworkers are told to just walk around it, like, what in the dystopian is that? So it's like, yeah, obviously, let's boycott a terrible company. Sounds great, right? Here's the problem, is the actual execution of those boycotts. Is that every time that I've seen one of those boycotts in the past where we're going to have X amount of time that we're going to boycott this company for, which first of all, that's not a boycott. If you're like, it's going to start on this day and it's going to end on that day, this amount of time, sure, but still, effectively, a boycott is you just stop, period, end of sentence, don't come back. Rearview mirror, never knew her kind of situation. A boycott means you're donezo, that you do not buy from that company until they fulfill the thing that you want. It's not just, I'm taking a vacation from buying stuff from them. But anyway, I digress. Within that window of time, I would see people talking about that the week before the boycott starts, they will fill up their carts and buy way more stuff than they normally do to prepare for the boycott. And then after the boycott is over, they're like in withdrawal, and they'll fill up their cart with buying more stuff than they normally would to be like, oh my god, I had all this stuff that I needed to buy and wanted to buy, and I had to wait, and it sucked waiting, and now I can get all these things that I wanted to get and be out of control with my spending. Amazon's laughing all the way to the bank with y'all doing that. You know, the fact that on the front end and the back end, y'all are buying more stuff than you normally would if there was just no boycott at all. Nah, they're like, oh yeah, please, more boycotts. Let's wipe our tears with all this money you're giving us before and after the fact. Like, they're not hurting. Not only that, the fact that these boycotts, the things that people are filling their cart up with are not books. They're all those cheap, stupid plastic things that you see in those TikTok videos, like weird, like little videos where they like have like 50 different like things that they're like putting on their face, and little like those little plasticky like electronic things like the little fan, and you know, wing wong things, little LED mask things, and oh, I'm gonna have this little like charcuterie board tray that floats in my bathtub, and all that other tchotchke crap that you know is going to break after a couple of months, or you're gonna use it like once and then never use it ever again. Those are all the things people are filling their carts up with. The problem is, those are the things that are going to hurt Amazon the most if you stop buying them, because those are the things that are their best sellers. It is proven that Amazon does not make money off their books. Amazon makes money off all the stuff. All the stuff. They don't make money off the books. The only people that are being hurt in this equation are the authors. Every time there's been a big Amazon boycott, authors talk about that they see their sales just crater. And not just for the period of time that people have like assigned to be the boycott. No, before and after, just straight into the ground. And it takes months for those sales to recover. And then the fact that, like, I think it was 2024, if I remember correctly, there were a series of boycotts. So it was just absolute crater. And then you'd have a couple of months to kind of build it back up, just, you know, start building it back up, and then just crater again because there's another boycott. And okay, now we have to start from down here, crater again. And people's sales have just tanked. Just over and over and over again. Amazon doesn't give a shit. They're not making money off these books. We are. And the fact that for whatever reason, these readers just obsess about KDP and about these books being available on Amazon, that people have gone so far as to tell authors that if you publish your book through Amazon, that you're not an indie author just because Amazon is a big company. Never mind the fact that it is a completely different process to self-publish your book through Amazon than it is to get traditionally published under a traditional publishing house. I would know because I've gone both routes. It is very hard to get your book published by a traditional publisher. They take a very limited number of books every year to be published, and even if you are one of those lucky ones that they're like, yep, you're in our stable now and we're going to publish your books, they're still going to space out how many books you can publish over the course of several years. Like, they really limit that number. They don't just, you know, you have no control over that timeline because it's such a big investment. If you self-publish, you're on your own timeline. You can publish as slow or as fast as you want. And there's also far less stipulations for how you get that published, or even if you get published at all. Amazon being a big company has nothing to do with it other than I already have like more people that I can access via Amazon than I can if I were to somehow do this through my own means through like Shopify or Etsy or something. And not only that, also, I'm sorry, I don't have a giant ass printing press in my house to like hand print my own books. And you know, I'm disabled, y'all. Like, my wrists on like a bad day sound like cement mixers. You think I'm gonna sit here and hand type or hand write and print out and bind every single book for every no, we're not doing that. We're not living in the 1800s. Get out of here with that. No. Basically going out of their way to make up all these excuses for why they should be allowed to pirate authors' books. And it's like, y'all will do anything except pay an author for their book. And then there's the whole treating Amazon as a library problem, where these authors will post, here were my earnings this month, and it's like negative money. Because every time you return a book to Amazon, they charge the author for the money. Amazon doesn't pay for the book, the author does. So every time y'all pull that stupid little trick of reading a book and then returning it to Amazon, the author pays for it. So every time you do that, you are screwing over the author. Knock that shit off. It is heinous. Like, I've seen people where they are literally crying that they owe Amazon hundreds of dollars because y'all do this nonsense. Like, stop it. You are literally harming authors by doing that. And I've seen people where they've had to take down their entire collection off of Amazon. Like, they literally are like, I'm done. I'm done. And they take down all their books and they quit. They quit writing, they quit being an author, nobody gets to read their books anymore because of this. It's really sad and really horrible. Like, these things have real consequences, and authors pay the price, not Amazon. In every one of these situations, authors pay the price, not Amazon. Stop punishing authors. Oh my god. And it's like, yeah, I understand that not everybody can, like, afford to buy the things that they want to buy. That, you know, maybe your budget is you can only buy, like, one book a month or, you know, one book every, like, 3 months or whatever. And that really sucks, and I'm really sorry. But at the end of the day, it's like you can afford what you can afford. And yes, there are some authors where if you reach out to them really, really nicely and ask them for, like, you know, can I read a free copy, and in exchange, like, I'll leave you a really rad review or something, you can have those individual conversations with authors. Don't expect anything. Don't be entitled and think that authors are going to hand over their books for free, because a lot of them won't, but some of them might, if you're polite and if you have something to offer. But don't be expecting stuff for free. The whole reason why we have to charge what we charge is that books cost money. Even if it's an ebook that isn't a physical book, that still costs money, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's self-published through Amazon or it's a traditional publisher, somebody's got to get paid. And us as authors, that means that the publisher takes a cut, whether that be Amazon or, like, you know, Penguin and Random House. They need to take their cut. If you're not making money, they will drop you. That's the reality of the situation. So even those books that aren't physical books still cost money, and that they, you know, you got to pay the tax man kind of thing. You got to pay the publisher. That's how it goes. Everybody needs to get paid. If that means you have to wait to read a book, you have to wait to read a book. Also, ask authors if they have any copies available at local libraries. That's a great way to be able to read a book for free and support your local library. And many authors, myself included, do have books available in local libraries. If your local library doesn't have that book available, you can actually request it. And not only that, that's helpful to the author. The more people that go to their local library and request specific books, the more likely that library is to then go buy that book, and then everyone can enjoy that book for free. So if you're looking for a real option that actually helps authors and bonus helps libraries, go to your local library and request that book. Get your friends involved. Get them all to go to the library and request that book, because the more requests means more likely to happen. There are ways around this that don't involve literally stealing authors' stories. We have enough on all sides to deal with as authors behind the scenes, trying to get our stories out there, trying to get ourselves heard, trying to get our books in the hands of our readers. We don't need our readers themselves making it worse. So please, please, on behalf of all authors, we are all begging y'all, please stop pirating our books, and please take these Amazon boycotts with a grain of salt, and make sure that your focus is on the actual company itself and not the authors that are just caught in the crossfire. So, I want to thank y'all so much for watching this video, and if you found it helpful, please leave a like, and if you're new, subscribe. Alright y'all, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.